Hello, my dear friends. This is Rabbi Aaron Dubinsky coming to you today from the holy city of Yerushalayim, Jerusalem, Israel. I'm going to continue on what I was talking about last week. Why do bad things happen to good people? Which could be a title for a book. Oh, wait a minute. It already was. Anyway, why do bad things happen to good people? People tell me all the time. The people I counsel with, they say, Rabbi, I don't get it. I've tried to do everything right. And Hashem still beats me up. What's the problem? What do I need to do to make things right? Well, let me ask you a question. Are you more righteous than Avraham Avinu? No. How about Moshe Rabbeinu? No? Okay. Matter of fact, it says that Avraham Avinu was the beloved of Hashem. How better can you get than be the beloved of the creator of the universe? Is that something special or what? And yet, in spite of that, HaKadosh Baruch Hu put Avraham Avinu through 10 tests, one of which was the binding of Isaac, or in other words, sacrifice your son to me. You know, the son that you waited 100 years for, and now you had 37 years with him, and so now I think it's my turn, so why don't you just sacrifice him to me? How many of us could do that? It's very hard. And Avraham did it. As a matter of fact, not only did he do it, it said he got up. And in fact, he got up early in the morning because he was anxious to fulfill the will of Hashem. Was that it? Maybe it was. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe he wanted to get this thing behind him, get the test behind him, because he'd already been told by Hashem himself that he was going to be the father of two nations. He was going to be, and his children would be as plentiful as the sand on the seashore, as plentiful as the stars in the heaven. Not my words, it's in Torah. Go ahead and check it. And this is what he was getting, but he was told to sacrifice him. And he says, well, if I sacrifice him, how can I be this way? And apparently, at some point or another, one of two things happened. One, he realized Hashem wouldn't give him his word and then break it, because Hashem is not that way. Or two, he realized that he needed to do these things. Why? Because Hashem said so. Just like we have all this halacha that we've got in the Torah and all the Gemara that we've got, we have to do all these things. Why? Because Hashem said so. Do we know why in all cases? No, we do not know why in all cases. In some cases, the connection is pretty straightforward. We get it, okay? In other cases, we don't have clue. We just do it. So Avraham Avinu did what he was told to do. He protected everything that Hashem gave him, and he decided he was going to fulfill Hashem's request. Although I think somewhere, if you look deep down inside of him, you'd have figured out he might have thought, there's no way this is really going to happen like this, so I might as well get to it, and let's get this out of the way. Okay? And that's Avraham Avinu, the first Jew. The first. He was the one. He started it all. He was the first one to go, idols. No, idols are not gods. What about golden idols? No, not even golden idols. Not even silver idols, not even copper idols. No idols. There's one God. He's above, and he's over all of creation because he created it. Matter of fact, it says in the very beginning of the Torah, Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim v'es haaretz. Hashem created the heavens and the earth. Why does it start with that? Because he wanted to set the record straight. It was his. He created it. Therefore, he could do with it what he wants. So later on, when he says, "I want to give this to the children of Israel," who's there to argue with him except their enemies? So he says, I'm giving it to him. He has every right to do that. Why? Because it's his. And if it's yours, you can do with it what you'd like to do with it. So there you go. Now let's go to Moshe. Let's go to this week. This week we have 10 plagues. Why not 11? Why not 20? Why not 200? Well, if you read the Haggadah, you'll find out there are different countings of the plagues. But just for today, for the purpose of today's shiur, figure there are 10. There are 10 plagues. Hashem knew it. He was going to give them to Pharaoh, and he told Moshe in the very, very beginning, you're going to love this. Not only did he say, I'm going to give him plagues, but he said to him, and I'm going to harden his heart, so he's not going to let you go. Can you imagine the true grit that it takes to go in, talk to what in effect was the most powerful man on the planet Earth, and ask him for something that you knew you were not going to get a positive response on? You knew in advance he was going to say no. You just didn't know how upset he'd be by it. And some of the times he was, and some of the times he wasn't. But the fact was, he said no. And he said no 10 times. And this is something, like I say, Moshe Rabbeinu knew all this. He knew he was going to talk to the most powerful man on the planet Earth, and he was going to be in a non-receptive mood. He was going to say, let him go. Are you kidding? Not only that, but on the first one, after the first plague, not only did he not let them go, he made their job harder. They were making bricks, and bricks are great because you can build things with them. And how do they make bricks? Well, a bunch of mud. But the mud isn't going to stay together forever. The first time it rains, it's going to fall apart. So what else you have to do? Straw. You have to break up pieces of straw to go in with the mud. And the combination of the two gives you something strong enough to build with. And Pharaoh, after the first plague, said, no more straw for you. You want straw? Go out and get it. And you have to get your own. Not only that, how many bricks do you have to make a day? 100? 100 it is. No, you still have to make 100. Even if you have to go out and get the straw yourself, you have to make the 100, whatever the number was. He says, see how you do trying to make your straw or trying to make your bricks with no straw. Because you can't do that. You're going to have to get the straw, and you got to go get it. And what did Moshe say to Hashem? Why do you do this? Why do you do this? For heaven's sake, you told me to go ask for him to let them go. I did what you said, and look at this. Not only does he not let them go, he makes their job harder. Now they hate me. They don't want me coming in and doing this because they figure if he does that on one and you do another, what's he going to do on the next one? And they'd be right. They would be right. Pharaoh had no love lost for the people. You have to remember that in the beginning it talks about Pharaoh. It says a new Pharaoh arose who did not know Yosef. Now, this could be one of two things. This is very important to take a look at because one of them means one thing and one means totally something else. It says a new Pharaoh arose who did not know Yosef. Some of the Ravs say a new Pharaoh came along. He didn't know Yosef. He didn't know the deal that his father, his grandfather, whoever was before him made with Yosef. He didn't know any of this. So all he saw was a bunch of people getting to be bigger and bigger who could possibly be an enemy sometime in the future. And then that was it. So he impressed them. Now, there were other Ravs who say, no, it was the same Pharaoh. He forgot. How often does this happen? We forget the good things that Hashem does for us. We forget the good things that a fellow person does for us, and we just move ahead with our lives. They didn't know exactly what to do about it. So Pharaoh went, and he asked some of his wise men about it. And some said, leave them alone, they're fine. And one said, no. They could be very dangerous. And the third one, well, he didn't know what to say. So he didn't say anything. Now, these people will come up later, and I'm going to talk about them later, but not today. There were three very, very prominent individuals. And this formed, by the way, by what they said here, it formed their lives to come in the future years. Okay, so Moshe went in, and he's talking to Pharaoh, and Pharaoh says, nope, not going to let him go. And he does this 10 times. 10 times. How many of us would have had the gumption to even face him a second time after he brought down his wrath on us and our people? Who knows? But the fact is, he did it 10 times. To Moshe Rabbeinu, the one to whom he gave the 10 Commandments, not just once, but twice. After he broke the first set, he gave him another set. This is how much he loved Moshe Rabbeinu. Yet he gave him all this stress. So, you got Avraham Avinu, you got Moshe Rabbeinu, and we got you and me going, why is Hashem so mean to me? Let me ask you, have you been through any of the things that Avraham had to go through or through Moshe had to go through? Probably not. The things you have are of a much more basic level. Does it mean I hate you? No. It means Hashem is building your strength for what is to come. He knew Moshe was going to have all these millions of people depending on him. He needed to be tough, but he needed to be kind. And he needed to inculcate these characteristics inside of himself. And so he did. And it was the 10 plagues that helped him to do that. Same thing with Avraham Avinu. 10 trials, each one of them to make him tougher and tougher and more connected to Hashem. So when Hashem makes things tough for us, think about the fact he's getting us ready for something. He's getting us ready for something. And instead of complaining and crying, say thank you. Like I told you a couple weeks ago, he creates the itch and then he gives you something to scratch it with. So let him give you the itch. And you don't have to complain about it. Say thank you. Because I know Hashem, I'm your child, you love me, and you wouldn't do anything to harm me. Therefore, I'm thanking you for setting me up for everything that is to come. I really appreciate it, and I want to let you know that in advance. Now, if you do this, you will help bring your own personal redemption, and you will help the redemption of people around you, which brings the final redemption and the announcement of Mashiach Tzidkenu, Bimhirav Yomenu. So we want to have Mashiach coming soon. This is part of what we need to go through. It's part of the test that we are put here for. So let's pass it with flying colors. Well, my friends, have a great Shabbos and a great week ahead. Be well. God bless. All the best.